Here we go. Episode 377. We were gamers. Pew, pew, pew. Oh. How's it going, guys? I've been traveling. I just got off a plane today. My brain is still a little scattered. I think they call that scatterbrained.
One might even.
Is that what they call it when you're scattering?
Yeah. Last week, JJ, I had to put a addendum in our podcast because we talked about Harebrained schemes and their July layoff rumors and the seeming missteps Paradox may have taken in releasing that game.
Don't really see how it could be called seeming.
Lamplighters League, that game, the one that I didn't know the name of before last week. Scatterbrained. Let's talk about Harebrained.
Yeah. Man, sure seems like stuff keeps being bad for them. Well, I don't know, bad or good, I guess, is the question.
I can't believe that it wouldn't be in the end good, though unfortunate that they may have to head back to the well of something as bad as a Kickstarter.
Yeah, I mean, they got out, right? They're finishing their contract with Paradox, right?
Yeah, as the podcast went up, news broke the next morning that they and Paradox had mutually decided that their strategic visions were different and they were going to part ways, which to me means that they fired each other.
I mean, what it means is Paradox owned them and decided to not own them anymore, and that instead of dissolving them completely, some number of them, either outside parties or whatever, were like, but this is dumb, we could keep making things, and so they decided to either buy it out or do some portion of it to keep it going.
Yeah, I wish, and maybe we should try.
I don't know the business behind it all,
Yeah, but maybe we've talked to these people before. It's a chance we could talk to them again. I don't know.
Only one of those two people we talked to is still at that company, sadly.
Oh, really? Which one is no longer there?
Jordan Weissman, I believe, is off doing his own stuff.
Because they didn't make another BattleTech.
I believe he's been gone for a bit. I don't think it's new that he has left. But yeah. But Mitch Gittleman, my understanding, is still there.
Oh. Huh.
Those of you who don't know what we're talking about, long ago, go back into the archives. There's an episode. Andy and I talked to the creators of BattleTech before BattleTech came out. It was awesome. Dig back in there.
Yeah, maybe I'll put a link to it in the show chat. No, the YouTube. I'll put a link to it in the YouTube notes. How about that? Good
plan.
Yeah, that was a fun little dalliance. We haven't done anything like that since. I don't know why. I credit us for the success of that game. It wouldn't have been out there otherwise.
Definitely, it was us.
Us, 100%.
Yeah. Well, that's a bummer. They're definitely not making a BattleTech if he's not working on BattleTech.
I mean, I don't know. I believe Jordan Weissman is still the creator of the BattleTech IP. I mean, I don't think they can take that away from him.
Correct.
But I don't know what the status of the ownership of that IP is, because it's complicated and has always been complicated.
Yeah.
I think the rights for video games to it still exist with Microsoft somehow. So God knows how any of this works out. But yeah, best of luck to those folks. The Harebrained has made some really amazing games, and it sounds like they really got done dirty by Paradox.
Yeah. I can't imagine it's not in the end going to be better. I care about the Harebrained side more than I care about the Paradox side. I'm going to be honest.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, Paradox is a huge company. They make a bunch of very successful games. They don't need Harebrained to continue doing that stuff. But we also have to remember, even if Harebrained for money reasons or other reasons decides not to go back to BattleTech, they made a bunch of other awesome games. They made all those Shadowrun RPGs.
Yeah,
those games all ruled categorically.
Yeah.
So feel free to that Cyberpunk is popular again, right? Please, that's a rich vein of content right there. So they can make good stuff in lots of different genres. I think.
When was the Paradox deal? It was like after both Shadowrun games. It was during BattleTech, so like 20.
Yeah, it was during BattleTech. I think the Kickstarter had gone, but they hadn't finished the game yet. So
Yeah, I can't believe they man, the road of making 2 critically acclaimed Shadowrun returning and Dragon Falling, and then Hong Kong was also well received, but I don't remember it being that talked about.
I think the ones that were critically acclaimed were Dragonfall in Hong Kong, and Returns was also good.
Yeah, and then you've got a successful multi-million-dollar Kickstarter, right? Get bought for $7-something million, and that they ride them for one game and then drop them because they
not even one full game. Like it sounds like the Lamplighters League stuff kind of was just sent out there to die. I mean, the game was getting close to done, but it seems like it was just not. It maybe needed more time in the oven.
Tragic, dude. Just tragic. I really can't. I really got to pull for them. I gotta, listen to that list of games we read, and then what is Paradox put out that they've really, swung for the fences with? That I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't want to speak badly because I don't know the company very well. Europa, is that one of their games?
Paradox puts out those grand strategy games, right? They put out like Hearts of Iron, Europa Universalis, Stellaris.
Oh yeah, Stellaris.
Yeah. And then tons of DLC for those games.
Oh,
that's true, what Paradox does.
They just DLC the hearts out of everything, huh?
Yeah. I think there's new Stellaris DLC still coming out.
That's insane. Huh. It's really unfortunate. I can't imagine anybody's happy about it, but you got to pull for this, guys. Okay. We're on games. Let's stay positive, right? We were thinking positive thoughts. The Harebrained pulls it out. And I don't think there's been any more positive feeling this week than people who have been talking about Super Mario Wonder. Are you two talking about Super Mario Wonder?
Sounds like we're about to.
Got him.
JJ, there is a moment, knowing that you are not far into this either, but there is a moment in the second level where some piranha plants start singing.
Yep.
And okay, we're going on a ride.
This is going to be a weird one.
So Andy, I don't know if you are how much of the thin typical Mario plot for this game you are familiar with.
I'm familiar with nothing except that I wonder if that flower comes off as hilarious or extremely annoying.
I think I find it funny and or interesting, the interactions that you have with it. Only because at least so far they all seem like wildly varied from one another.
Yeah, Michael and I seem to be in about the same place. We haven't really played much of the game yet. But from everything I've read and heard online, the game is just like full of weird one-offs all throughout the whole game.
Yeah,
all right.
It's fun though. So I've played far enough to get into the point where the map opens up, kind of like the 3D Land and 3D World did, where you don't have to follow the linear path. You can sort of run around on the map and pick where you want to go.
Oh, okay. So they give us that. That's good.
Yes, and then I've gotten the first badge as well.
Yeah, I think that's where we call it, right at that.
Okay, so badges are a new thing where you get extra powers that aren't like suits. Is that what I'm gathering?
Yeah, so badges are a new old thing.
Everything old is new, right?
Well, badges are borrowed from the Mario and Luigi RPG games.
Okay.
So those all had badges that all gave you different abilities, right? Your hammer hit harder, you could jump more times, things like that. And these
You can
work
only equip a certain amount.
Yes, you can only equip a certain amount of them. You might be able to increase the number you can equip as the game goes on, unsure. But you start out only being able to equip one.
Yeah, my belief is it is one, but it
that's
could
pretty
be
limiting.
It could be different. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it changes later.
Or
very
maybe the
early.
badges just get better.
Well, I think there's two separate things, right? The badges are really extras. It so far from everything I've seen, nothing requires because you can change the badge at the start screen, right? Or wait, at the start of the level, right?
Yes.
Not at the start screen, sorry, but at the start screen before a level, you can change the badge to like any of them. None of them can then be required, right?
Hmm.
I mean, maybe there are specific levels where they like force you to use certain badges in those levels. But I haven't seen any of those yet. But at least so far, right? When you're doing a level, like you might have a badge, you might not. So the level is like a Mario level, and then the badge is other stuff.
Right. So you'll find this very quickly, JJ. I think it's just past where you stopped. There are badge challenge levels where they automatically equip you with a badge at the start, and you have to get to the end of the level using the badge.
Okay, so that is then like force you to try out this one badge,
Yes.
or go through it doing whatever the thing the badge does. That's cool. But like the standard levels that let you pick, you could pick any of them, right? Or none, right? I think, can you pick none?
I think you can totally unequip them, yes.
Yeah. So they can't design those levels, requiring you to have had them. But it is cool to hear that there are some that like they've designed levels specifically for them, because then that means you can, get really wacky.
Yeah. Find some crazy ways to clear things.
Yeah, and I don't think it's very much of a spoiler to say the first badge you get is this little like hat that you wear that allows you to slow fall, basically.
It turns your hat into a paraglider.
Oh, okay.
Like, think Breath of the Wild.
Well,
but you're not really getting like a lot of horizontal distance here. You're talking like more than you would normally in a Mario jump.
Sure.
But yeah, a little bit more, right? But, even that allows you to do some interesting stuff, right? Because you can also pull it out at any point by pressing a button in your jump. So, you get some more air control, I guess, right?
Yeah. One thing that is different, so I don't know about you, JJ, but I by default just picked Mario to start at the character select.
Mm-hmm.
But unlike previous Mario games, everyone's physics is the same in this game.
I did hear that in the preview coverage, yeah. And the only thing that's different about any of the characters is there are characters for, I think it's the Yoshis and Nabbit, right? Who are
don't
like
take
pseudo
damage.
invincible, yeah. So no Peach with her floating, and no Luigi with higher jumps or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think everyone's probably happy with that. But JJ, you had two major needs from this game. One.
Yeah. So the first one, very importantly, this game, you don't collide with a co-op player.
Oh.
You do the pass through.
Yeah, I don't know like how to describe it, but the two characters just are both there at the same time. Mm-hmm. There's no you can't interrupt them, you can't troll them, you can't interact with them. You can kind of share power-ups between each other, because there is a stored power-up a la Super Mario World.
Yes, I do like that.
Accessed via a button. but there is no like other than that stored power up, there kind of is no way to interact with the other person on the screen.
How does the camera handle the other people on the screen? In the
You
past,
both-
player one moved the camera.
So because this is a side-scrolling Mario game, you cannot move the camera with a button or anything like that. So that's
Right,
not you know how it works. But you do have to stay on the same screen.
Yeah, so someone could fall behind still.
Yes.
Okay. But overall frustration level playing co-op?
Pretty low. I mean, other than the like playing of the Mario game and like falling into pits and stuff, as you do.
Yeah.
Oh, I kicked this shell. Sorry, I hit you because the shell is still like I'm not trolling you by hitting you, but the shell is still a shell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that or walking on a piranha plant and thinking you could jump on it, stuff like that, right? The normal Mario stuff. But yeah, it's been good. And the other thing that I was worried about, which was a feature that I very much disliked in the new Super Mario Brothers games, was the constant like wah-ing of the sound.
There you
Anyone
go.
who's played those games know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This game does not have that. You were very concerned about all these little talking flowers. The talking flowers just say stuff like generic lines. I have no beef with them.
It just seemed like maybe it was just as bubbly as before, even though maybe.
I mean, look, the game is not like grimdark Mario. It's not what this is. This is still like the thinnest veneer of a plot, right? Like spoilers, like Bowser does something to the kingdom, and you got to go put it back, right? Like I don't think
my surprised face.
Yeah, I know. And no one here is shocked to learn that that's the plot. And I think that there's no more information. There may be no other plot than that for this entire game.
I would be surprised if there was.
That's not a bad thing in this day and age.
Not, look, it's a Mario game. You run from the left side to the right side. Yeah. And so, the game isn't about that. But it is, sorry, Michael was talking about the level with the piranha plants singing. It's just like they're just trying to do like fun, weird stuff so far.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it gets more difficult as the levels go on. I assume it will.
They're graded. Did you notice? There's a star rating for level difficulty.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's probably there. I just probably wasn't looking.
Yeah, at the start screen, there's a little star in the corner of the card, and it has a difficulty.
What have you seen them go up to so far?
Just 1 and 2 so far.
Okay. I'm guessing there's 3 or 5, right? There's like the only 2 options.
Probably, yeah. I would think, given that I'm still in World 1, and I have seen 1 and 2, that it's probably up to 5.
Mm-hmm.
But just a guess there.
Interesting. I'll keep my eyes out for that next time we play.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been great. I think like I said, it just seems like the game is having fun and you have fun too, by association with it.
Yeah, I do like that the talking flowers are kind of scattered here and there throughout levels, but it's funny because the throwaway lines that they have are sometimes exactly what you're thinking when you're thinking this is very weird, and in those moments it's just really funny.
The best one I saw was one of these flowers was like hanging out near the top of the screen, and through a series of contrived things I jumped up there, and it was like, how did you even get up here?
Self-aware game. I like it. Do you think that Champions of the Continent is a self-aware game?
Like, no,
right? Probably not.
I would say no.
It's not going to make a joke at its own expense, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, because I didn't think it was self-aware when I've been working on Serenoa, and I've changed positions on the game board. I don't like it.
No?
I think I would like it if they had coded the game a little better and the pausing wasn't so bad. But it becomes a repetitive mess of just waiting for the game to make its next move. Almost as bad as like Civ 5, JJ. I am, please wait.
Which part of the game board?
Every time I make a move on the game board, it's a full 2 to 3 seconds before I'm able to roll again.
Yeah, because well, so part of that problem is that on the triangle strategy game board, you have to tap every square you want to move through large parts of it, right?
Well, and more than that, you have to just sort of wait when it lands on a space to decide if there's some sort of action to happen, right? And then it clicks the action, and then it just takes so
I
long.
will tell you that it will eventually get better.
How
they
could
fixed that in a later patch in the JP version.
What is what? Don't tell me this now. What do you mean? What do you mean?
They shortened all those times, like the waiting time in between actions and stuff.
It's atrocious.
I mean, part of the issue is with the triangle strategy one in specific, right? Every time you get to a junction, it has to play the little animation and the sound related to from triangle strategy that shows the scales, that shows you this decision point. And like the problem is you're hitting that all the time because those boards have like 3 of those junctions back to back to back to back to back.
I really just want the ability to turn that off. Just let me go through the board. Don't show me the story. I've seen it 3 dozen times now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think the
other boards are better than that, but they still have the same problems of like, every time you hit the spot, it wants to play the musical chime. Or
it's a feeling that I've started to have now. I still like the game quite a bit. I'm not saying I don't, but it's a feeling I've started to have, and this is why I asked about self-awareness. That I've started to have with their good ideas. They have good ideas for like one-off experiences and then make you do them so many times without thinking about what it's going to be like for players to do that hundreds of times if they have to do it hundreds of times. The towers are a good example of this, right? The towers are a great idea. Going through the tower the first time is a really like grueling, hard, fun experience like doing a dungeon or a raid would be in an MMO, right? But then you've got to every single month do the same. And I know what you're going to say. JP fixed that. And yes, it would be great once we can jump to EX5 and just complete the whole tower.
Right.
But like it feels like every new idea, like the boards and all these other things are like created and then they're designed to make you replay them a bunch, but then they don't think about how to make them easier on the player and to not easier, but less frustrating. I guess, or less. I don't know. It becomes. I don't know. I'm to the point with the boards where I don't even want to do them, but I have to.
You're coming up against the time friction that the game intentionally inserts here to make you want to either spend money or do other things to, increase your power level, right? Because you're right. If you want to become more powerful in this game, you need to engage with that game board and kind of a lot.
Yep.
Like, especially, man, upgrading fortune weapons is a pain.
From, you mean the new levels?
Because, the fortune weapons have a level 2 that exists now as of this most recent update, right?
Yes.
Right.
And you need like new stones to do that. And the new stones you get from, you guessed it,
the
game board. But each weapon doesn't just need the stones from the board that it was from. It also needs stones from one of the other 2 boards, but like a lower number. So you can't just like, get your, I don't know what was what, but like if you want to upgrade your sword, you can't just go to the same board that you got the sword from and just run that a bunch of times. You also have to run one of the other 2 boards to get enough stones from that category too.
Yeah, and this is
stones aren't that expensive, but like at 500 and you need like 20 or something for one weapon, and then plus some of the other type also, you are going to have to run those boards a lot.
It sounds like this is where the passes were designed to come in, right? And I just, as a free to play, I'm not experiencing the benefit of that, but
I'll repeat myself again. That will also be fixed a little bit, JJ. The time investment.
God.
We are still we are still missing a board.
Oh, one board?
Is there?
There's one more board coming. That's the Dragon board, I think is what it was called in JP, and
Uh-huh.
it is
You get all
the
three?
best board for farming. Yes, you get all three, and it's the best board for farming metals on.
Oh gosh, darn it, man! Come on.
Why the wait? So many things where it's like, yay, they did this thing, or like they gave us Renew early, and then you're like, wait, but the best thing for farming this thing is still unavailable, or the best change to the game with this thing is unavailable. It's just implement the good
They want
stuff.
you to really appreciate it when it comes.
Oh man.
Also, the one where you might think Rinyu would be the best would be in the tower, and doesn't the boss in the top of the cleric tower force switch Rose, which deactivates her thing?
So yeah, I read about this actually on the Reddit, and it's because the tower came out after her.
Right, and so the boss was designed to negate the advantage that you get.
So, just like
Yeah, it sounds like I really missed out by not managing to hit on Frederica and Roland. A lot of people are coming up with some pretty crazy strategies around them.
I think the reason there's a lot of strategies coming up is because they're new, right? Like they were basically non-units effectively in JP. Like they're there and they were fine, but they weren't like even close to good.
And then
but
they got buffed.
The buffs they gave them have been huge, and so now there is stuff to do. Like, oh well, this wasn't possible before because these new buffs are insane to some degree. But like all the old strategies still work. Like no one, they didn't take any of those away.
That's true. I definitely feel like it's reached that status where it's like I just not enough time. Not enough time. Can't manage to get all of it in. Right? Like I haven't done any of the duo fights. I haven't done any of the new Master Tower. Haven't farmed the new weapons. Haven't done the new story. And yet, I can still manage to get on the game for an hour a day and still move along the needle somewhere.
You should do that. You should work on that new story, man. The new story is pretty good. It unlocks a lot of new weapons getting to that town because all the weapons now have a level 3 of the Hell series.
The level 3 opens. Yes. Does the new set also have a 3?
Yeah, I think so.
You can unlock the other ones without starting the new story.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, how do you do that?
I guess I didn't go to any of the merchants.
Do you what okay, so
that one.
Hold on, what are the level 3s for like the Hollow series need?
More of the same refined stones from that area, which are all available in an exchange at the moment.
From the old area.
So you don't even have to farm them.
Or if you did farm them before and you have 500 sitting in the bank or whatever, you can just use them.
Yes.
Yeah. From the old area.
Yes, from the old area. Each area.
Like when our weapons were released, as we were going through town to town to town, and they would have a 1, 2, 3, and a 4, all using materials from the same area.
Right, sure.
That's how this is working, except they're just releasing them all the 1s and then the 2s and 3s now later.
So is this week the week of all the crazy reruns and all that, like the original 8 and everything, and it starts what's the outlook for us coming up, Michael?
So this week we get a free 10 pull that is featuring the original 8 from this game, and we also get 2 more of the missing 11 4-stars.
Oh, that's this week.
Yeah, so those drop this week, and then next week is the Bravely Default rerun. And we get 3 free 10 pulls on that banner.
Oh, I could use an A1 for some of those characters. That'd be nice.
Yeah. So cross your fingers.
Nice. Cross your feet and put them up on your coffee table, Michael.
Nice.
Well done. So yeah, this is funny. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you guys on the pod. I know, Andy, I have told you about it in conversation before. But JJ, are you familiar with buy nothing groups? Have I brought this up before?
I know what that is, not from you or Andy, though.
Okay, so in our city, there is a buy nothing group on Facebook with the idea being that it's
You
a
shouldn't buy
local,
things.
right? It's a local community where like people have all recognized we have all this stuff. We're some of it is still in good condition, but for X, Y reason, we don't need it anymore. We're just going to give it away. And if you get enough people who all have the same mentality, then you wind up with just kind of this open swap meet of people passing stuff off to people who want it or need it. And so we use it for all kinds of stuff for ourselves, stuff for the kid, and it's a really good way to, if you stay active in it, to have a little community of people who are all sort of handing things around, so no one has to feel bad about throwing things away or spend money unnecessarily on things that someone else has and doesn't need. So I'll shout them out and shout up the whole concept of buy nothing groups. But at the end of last week, my wife was browsing our local one and came across someone who was asking for something rather than offering something up. And what they were looking for was a very specific thing, and they caveated their request right up front. But they were looking for a very specific size glass top the octagonal table in which they could display their Lego Millennium Falcon.
All right. I have seen I have to send you a picture. So the big one, right? Not the little one.
Yes, no, the big one.
Yeah. UCS Falcon.
Yeah. The best part of it though wasn't the request. It was the fact that like 8 comments down in the response thread, someone posted a video of, I already found the perfect table for mine and here it is.
Please tell me it was the Death Star person.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh. Okay. So
but it was their octagonal table with their Millennium Falcon in it.
There are a lot of people that have
in it.
Yes.
In it?
Yes.
Yeah, so
JJ,
like it's glass top but open side.
I need to understand what you mean. How do you get it in it?
Okay, I'm trying to find the picture. This guy, there's multiples of these out there in the world.
A table is, okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding. Do they want a cabinet on which there is an open top?
No.
So it is a glass top table, but it's not solid around the sides. So the one I saw just had
like legs,
like dowels holding up the top piece of the table from the bottom.
Oh no, these I gotta find it. Oh my god, I gotta find it.
I think I know what you're talking about, Andy.
Yes. So there's a gentleman who builds lots of crazy Lego stuff, and he had the Millennium Falcon. He built Docking Bay 94. Was it Docking Bay? What is it? 93 something? 93? 94?
Use your words to describe what you mean instead of trying to like make a Star Wars in joke.
I wasn't trying to make an in joke. The place the Millennium Falcon lands on the Death Star, the first one.
There we go. Now I know what you mean.
Okay. This guy built a diorama table. Like full on coffee table diorama of the Millennium Falcon inside of the docking bay. This might be it. Copy.
And it just must take up like the entire size of the table and like 4 feet above it, right?
I mean,
scale. I think it's huge.
It's a coffee table.
That is quite the coffee table.
I mean, yeah. It's a large table. I sent one to the chat.
Okay, I'm looking at this in the chat now. What is here is I think you guys are using the phrase coffee table, and I'm picturing a table with like maybe a shelf under it.
Yeah, you're picturing more like I could copy image. There we go. You're picturing more like this one, the second one.
What this thing is a shadow box made of glass.
Yeah,
with 4 legs.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not what was in the ad that I saw. What I saw was what you're picturing, JJ.
The second one that I sent is, I think, more like what people would imagine, right?
Even still, this is not what I think of as a coffee table, but this is certainly something that might exist, except for the glass on the sides.
So people were able to not only picture what this guy was talking about, but in a local Buy Nothing group be like, check mine out.
Yes.
That's pretty freaking great.
So someone else in the neighborhood has already gone through the hunt and installed their Millennium Falcon in there.
I think JJ's greatest discovery for me personally was that website with all the stands. The acrylic stands for holding Legos sideways. They have tons of them for like every type of model.
Yeah, I was just going to shout them out. I own the Millennium Falcon here, the UCS Millennium Falcon that's being discussed. Do you guys also own it? Maybe one or both of you have it. I don't remember.
I have one in a box.
Got it. But Wicked Bricks is the name of the website, and they sell like giant acrylic stands of varying types for, like Andy says, every single Lego set you can think of, probably.
Yeah. I almost think I might want to wall mount mine.
There's a few different ones for the Falcon. There's a standard level one, which would like work well if you were going to sit it out on a table. But the one that I got, which I think is personally think is the best, is the diagonal like resting mount, so that it looks like it's banking at an angle, right? You do have to remove a couple of the legs to get this mount to work, because it uses those points as the places to sort of hold it structurally up.
But you can't see them anyway because it's on the other side.
Yes, exactly. And now it looks like, dynamic, like it's flying through your room, and it's cool. So shout out to them. That is, in my opinion, the best way to display your Millennium Falcon. The table is a cool idea, but it would have to be airtight, because otherwise dust is just going to accumulate in there, and then you can never get it out.
I mean, for me, I couldn't do it because of the dogs.
Oh, yeah. You would have to live in a museum house, because it would just be destroyed immediately by children or people bumping into it or whatever. Right. I mean, a normal adult bumping into a table like that. Now, if it's placed, exactly in the middle and secured to the bottom somehow, which again, I don't know how you would do, gluing that feet is not going to do anything.
Yeah, I think it's still kind of cool and a good idea, if you can, to integrate stuff like this into your household, like as artwork or whatever. Like, I think, JJ, you have some of your Lego stuff out on like tables in hallways, so that they kind of are adding color to your hallways and stuff. I think
our NES set is out there.
It's valuable to do that instead of just like having shelves and shelves and shelves of this stuff just accumulating. Right? Like, put it out as your coffee table, or put it out
on our dining room table. We have all the flowers and stuff that we've built in a vase, like it's the flower bouquet.
Yeah. Because it feels like then you're actually integrating it rather than just staring at it in a, one section. That's kind of a cool idea.
I prefer, where possible, to have the sets that we build out somewhere, whether it's just on a drawer, on a desk or something. Obviously, it's not always possible, but we try.
Yeah. The other reason I couldn't have it as a coffee table is because when watching bad football, I might do something wrong and kick it or pick it up in anger and frustration.
What's a good fix for that, Andy?
Don't watch bad football?
I was going to say watch bad football in person.
Yeah, Michael got where I was going with it.
Got him.
That's what I did this weekend.
That's what I did this weekend.
Hey!
My bad football ended better than your bad football, I think.
It did, yes.
Michael, you watched Stanford play this weekend?
I did. I was on campus for my 15-year reunion.
It didn't go well.
It did not go well, but it wasn't expected to go well. UCLA has a very stout.
The way you said that, it was like Michael's reunion was horrible. I was like, geez.
No, the football game was a dark spot on an otherwise fun weekend.
Okay.
So can I tell you where you went wrong?
Absolutely.
You went to a football game of a good team versus a bad team.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to pick which team was the.
But didn't they beat
opponent.
UCLA? Not UCLA, USC? Isn't USC supposed to be good?
They didn't beat USC. No.
No, we did not beat USC. We got beaten by USC.
But it was like close?
No.
Not particularly.
Really. No.
Okay.
What if you had instead watched two bad teams like the Broncos and Packers play each other?
I mean, two bad teams playing each other is frequently way more entertaining.
Yeah, ended 19-17 on the last play being a pick.
Oof.
Was the last play a pick six or just a pick?
Just a pick, thankfully.
Oh, okay. It's just
With
a
a-
pick and they laid down in that end of the game.
With a defensive player smart enough to stay inbounds and just keep running.
That's always good to see.
Yeah. The
You love the fantasy managers hate this one weird trick, but it is often the smartest play, right? When the defensive guy goes down at the 1 yard line and just sits there inbounds because the clock keeps running or whatever,
Mhm.
as opposed to
Scoring the touchdown.
running it,
Yeah.
scoring the touchdown, and then giving the other team the chance to drive back with a Hail Mary or whatever.
Yep. Yeah. The Broncos Packers game was somewhat actually fun, with like lead changes and no one really being able to score until the midway through the second half. You thought you might have been watching a good game except for all the mistakes.
Free Aaron Jones. Why? Free him.
Well, it sounds like JJ, you want to do some Rantasy Football, and I have to start Rantasy Football with an apology.
To us, to the listeners, who you're apologizing to.
Yeah.
I'm going to
We need more information.
apologize. I'm going to apologize to Mr. Laporta and only him for besmirching him as not tradeworthy.
Okay.
Speak on his good name.
As the only consistent member of my team at this point.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and purchased from the waiver wire in my league after your suggestion of the trade. He was still available and I added him to my roster weeks ago. And since then, I have lost, except for tonight, although Michael, maybe Christian McCaffrey was lost tonight. It looked like.
Did he go down again?
No, I just saying he got like 7 points.
Oh no, he scored a pair of touchdowns.
Oh, okay. I had to stop watching the first half. Well,
Yeah, he
that's
finished
better.
with like 20 plus points.
First play of the game with a fumble and halfway through the game with 7 points was not the hope that I had. But okay, great. He's the last remaining running back I still have on my team from the beginning of the season. Yeah.
Fantasy football.
I'm now losing backups to backups,
Slim
man.
pickings.
I'm on the third string in Cleveland. It's a
I
bad.
don't know if, Darrell Henderson played effectively a 1-game contract for the Rams and is now going back to their practice squad. After getting 14 points, he's now back to the practice squad.
What? Who's going to take over? They put Williams on IR.
There were 2 other people on their roster, but one of them was hurt, which is why Henderson had to come in. I'm trying to look really quick. Ronnie Rivers and Royce Freeman apparently are both active on their roster. And
They also have Zach Evans, the rookie, that they have been benching for some reason.
So,
Very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, why win games? I don't know.
Overrated.
Yeah. I'm still somehow in.
It's a bad sign when your tight end this week in the Guillotine League not only outscores your quarterback, but more than doubles his point total.
It was a really bad week for quarterbacks. Like really bad.
Not Patrick Mahomes, but
Well,
all
I
other
mean-
quarterbacks apparently.
So I have never been a big investor in quarterbacks. The only reason I'm still participating and not just losing in my fantasy league is because I stack running backs as hard as I can. And try to stream quarterbacks, which has not panned out this season at all.
Yeah, the position's been a little thin this year.
Well, it's unpredictable, right? Like Gardner Minshew threw up 30 points this weekend.
Yeah, very how was anyone seeing this coming?
And Matt Stafford and Jared Goff and all took dumps in games they should have scored.
Herbert also did terrible, even
Howell
in a
did
game
terrible.
that was high scoring.
Yeah. What a weird week. What a weird week. Yeah. How overall are you still alive, JJ?
I am still alive. I mean, Travis Kelce getting 30 points is probably pretty helpful.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, I'll say thanks to Taylor Swift there for continuing to inspire his performances every time. That's really good. People have put that statistic out there. I didn't just make that up. He gets his games where Taylor Swift has not attended have had like 50 less yards
Wow.
than the ones where she has.
Can I just say anecdotally, in the middle of a 2-point football game where the teams are back and forth and people are screaming their heads off in the middle of an NFL stadium, I still overheard conversation about the fact that Taylor was at the Rams or at the Chiefs game. It's like,
Yeah.
How is this possible?
I think it's important for you. I think it's important for us to all understand and get reality checked here. Taylor Swift is more popular than the NFL.
I could see why.
And it's not close.
Yes. By a long shot.
Not
Yeah,
close.
there are many more people who know who Taylor Swift is than know anything about football.
I will say
So-
the Broncos have sold out their stadium for something that's a lot of straight games that they have sold out their stadium. Swift had all those stadiums, every stadium full every single time. Broncos, there were like 5,000 people that just decided not even to show up.
Then Taylor Swift also performs in a college football stadium and sells that out for like 100,000 seats, right? Like
Yeah.
It is just, so it goes to every country in Europe and sells out all of those seats. And then, it's just it's a different class of superstar and, so It is not surprising to me to hear that. But I hope she continues to attend Travis Kelce's football games so that he can get like 30 points a week. That would just be great for me personally.
I mean, make the man into a Hall of Famer, right?
I mean, is he not already?
Say you really accomplished something with your life.
Can't accomplish anything by having been the best tight end in the league for a number of years. That's not enough.
Yeah.
Also, he dated Taylor Swift. Oh, he's relevant.
Yeah, well, according to his Instagram follower numbers and how they've been spiking, I guess that's true.
I will say, we did watch that game, and if you had bet the under on the number of times they would show Taylor Swift on the broadcast, you would have won that bet.
Really?
I think, yeah, they did not cut to her as frequent as they have in other games. So maybe because the game was actually like close and interesting, therefore they could show the game. I'm sure if it had been a 40-13 blowout or whatever, we would have seen a lot more of Taylor Swift.
Okay, well, if you know how to get Taylor Swift on the We Were Gamers podcast, email us where?
Yeah.
pie in the sky dreams ads.
Yeah, sure.
Just email us. It doesn't matter what.
Yeah, look, whatever email address you have for us, but also podcast@weweregamers.com. Please send the emails there. Hey, we would, I don't know what the hell we would say, but we would talk to her. Sure. Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't we, right?
I mean,
We
absolutely.
could ask her how her fantasy football team is going.
Oh, God.
Do you think she plays fantasy football?
Do you know
I would love to know that.
how many? There can't possibly be that many people that aren't Taylor Swift fans yet. But do you know how many more Taylor Swift fans there would be if she came out and was like, "So is Travis on your fantasy team?" And she just doesn't answer the question.
I think the only way
she got Laporta in a late round.
She did.
Yeah, I was
she
gonna say,
traded for Laporta.
the only way she could get more respect if she comes out and is like, well, I did draft him, but then I had to trade him for Laporta and like
Yeah, well, my running back
3 picks
situation
later or
was
something.
really trashed, so
So funny.
that would be awesome. Taylor Swift fantasy football.
If you want to find us out there though, we're on YouTube, youtube.com/@weweregamers on there. And all those places where we are, please get at us.